There he is. What
I'm
are you reading now?
just catching up a wee bit of reading here. Texas whiskey, Justin.
Texas whiskey. You should be concentrating on tonight's sponsors. Scots Irish.
Scots Irish whiskey, our sponsors for the evening.
Yes.
All the way down there in the lovely Garrison down in County Fermanagh.
Yes. What better whiskey to get for St. Paddy's Day?
For St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
Are you going to play something?
I was going to play their video.
Well, play it then.
I was going to play their video. All right, here. Enjoy this. There you go.
Hey,
that was unfortunately down. That was Blake's to the Hollow, actually.
It's beautiful.
Unfortunately, we couldn't make it. We couldn't
get down to
away, and I was probably filming something or something like that. But there you go.
But no, down to Blake's in the Hollow. So go and pick up a bottle or a drink of Scots Irish whiskey.
Lovely stuff. Now,
are we going to do the news, Justin? Because we've got quite a lot on tonight.
We've tons on tonight. We've tons on. If you want to celebrate sort of St. Paddy's Day in style, you could go to the Sláinte celebration of Irish whiskey in Chicago. If you
I had to go to sing there. I'm not like Zuckerberg. Sorry, I know he's pissed off. He lost a lot of millions there a few weeks ago, so he's probably still annoyed.
Could be worse. You could work for Facebook in Ukraine or somewhere like that.
Yeah. Fair enough. Now,
here we go.
Hit the news. Bum, 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 bum. Yes. Maybe flickering, Justin. If somebody's out there is epileptic, I do apologise, just in case you're lying on the floor, kicking and screaming. We're still flickering away at my end. Anyway, first up this week with the news. Big release this week. Big release. We're on the loop here. There's something wrong with me.
We're not on the loop.
What's wrong?
We're not on the loop. It just hasn't finished yet.
Oh. I thought I was just sitting here. Right?
No, you're not. It hasn't finished. It's still going.
I'm getting myself a drink while you piss about doing that there. I'm going to have a wee tequila. Just a wee shot. I got given this by a friend there the other day. So what a wee shot of tequila. Here. Poured it fry from my waist. And a Billy the Kid shot glass. What more? It couldn't be more American.
Oh, that's pretty cool looking. Pretty cool looking indeed. What's first tonight, Marty, in the news?
Well, there was a big release this week. 2 stacks released by Polaris 9-year-old, and too much claim. They're not a distillery in and of themselves, although they're very closely related to Cologne. I'm sure a lot of people know this. Cologne, by the way, Potchine, being released in America this week. So yeah, big release for them. But there was a bigger release, I think. There was a bit more hoo-ha about it. Yeah, you're going to sit on this one photo, weren't you? You're not going to pan on. Hello. Justin seems to have disappeared and left me, so we can't do any graphics.
What's next this week, Marty?
Yeah, you're on now. You're on now. Okay, so you've resolved the Polaris. We're talking about Polaris. The 9-year-old has been released in Cologne. Has now been released in the States as well. Big release this week. Move on the photo. Right, so that's the other one. Next big release was, surprise, surprise, Middleton Very Rare 2022. Now, should you be someone who has a supply of Middleton Very Rare 2022, lots of people wet their little knickers this week trying to get their hands on a bottle of this. I saw online people giving off, purveyors of spirits, giving off saying, please stop ringing us. We don't have any. We haven't got any. We're not going to get any. And we won't be able to reserve you one even if we were getting stuff. So it just was nuts. Now, there's all these people trying to get as many bottles as possible. It's a combination of between 12-year-old and 33-year-old whiskies matured in lightly charred ex-bourbon at 40%. Now, the tasting notes are, well, to be fair, who really cares about the tasting notes? No, there's most of the people who were running around crapping themselves this week will not be opening these. They're buying them to flip them over. If you get the press release, Kevin O'Gorman and Billy Layton's notes are extensive, but it's totally irrelevant, to be quite honest, because the vast majority of people trying to get these this week that are going to stick them straight on an auction site. So if you haven't got one, don't panic. There'll be hundreds of them. I mean, literally.
What did Card at the Whiskey Companion think? He thought it's not sustainable, did he? Didn't think it really was.
Not really. Well, the thing is, I mean, are they going to do this every year where people just run around crapping themselves trying to get a bottle, and then they all get bunged onto the auction site? So whiskey bidders and Irish whiskey auctions and whiskey auctioneer and all, they get a little percentage of the bottle rather than the manufacturers and stuff. I don't think so. So we'll see. But Irish whiskey auctions actually did announce something quite exciting, because they're going to be auctioning off bottle number 1 for charity. Now, this is the list of stockists that are going to have it. Just while we're here, according to their website, there's still some available in the distillery store down in Dublin. The travel retail and other Republic of Ireland stockists will get it from the 2nd of March. Northern Ireland stockists will get it in the 21st of March. The rest of the world will be somewhere in mid-March. So expect the auctions will be inundated, but there's going to be plenty of them about. I don't think there's going to be any massive panic to get them, unless it comes out that there's only about 10 bottles of it or whatever, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Now, as I was saying, Irish whiskey auctions are going to be auctioning off bottle number 1, which will be properly collectible. I don't think this has ever been done before, and it's all going to go to charity. So if you're a multi-millionaire out there and you have extremely deep pockets and you want to give it back to charity, there's your chance. Go on whenever it's listed up, and you'll have to keep an eye out for when it's up. But it will be. You'll hear about this. This will not be a quiet affair. It'll be well advertised.
It could go through the roof, that one, couldn't it?
Well, kind of, yeah. It would be, in terms of collectability, all bottle number 1s are the ones you want. So why would it not be? Why would it not be extremely collectible?
Do we know how he ended up with that one? Do we? No, at all, or we're not supposed to know if we know? Irish
distillers would have given it to him, Justin.
Right.
Off. That's where that would have come from. So good on them. Good on all involved, as usual.
So a lot of stories to get through this week.
We do.
Oh, not these people. Not these people again. No way. Not these people again.
Yep.
No way.
Now, by the way, Peaky Blinders Series 6 is apparently coming out next month, I think it is. It's very shortly, anyway. Now, remember a couple of weeks ago where we were talking about the new Peaky Blinders whiskies? Now, we have the first lot came out from Sadler's.
Does anybody watch this shit? Does anybody watch this shit?
Probably.
Do you watch it? Do you watch it?
Yes, right. We all know that there was the original released by Sadler's came out. Do you have a picture of it, Justin? Bring up the picture.
I probably have.
You do have the next one? No,
No,
miles in front. Miles in front.
I don't have it.
Right, so Sadler's came out. Then out came Bushmills with their Peaky Blinders limited edition, which was applied for in the US Alcohol Tobacco Tax Bureau. Sorry. So that's now out. So you have the first one, then you have that one. No, you're moving on too fast now, Justin.
No, they've gone up the left. They've gone up the left on me for some reason.
Now, the production company, Karen Mandabag, have put in an application with the Intellectual Property Office in the UK for cosmetics, clothing, jewellery, barber shops, pubs, bars and restaurants, and food and drink. Now, I can only imagine that at some point you'll be able to go into a Peaky Blinders bar and buy Peaky Blinders whiskey, not by Sadler's, not Peaky Blinders by Bushmills, but the Peaky Blinders from the people who make Peaky Blinders who don't have a copyright. It's just,
Listen, Marty, I hate those fake Irish pubs anyway, and anybody that goes into them needs their head filled, and they usually do get them. You know,
they are. It's whenever you see authentic Irish bar and you walk in and what's on the menus, tagliatelle and all this kind of stuff. It's just
a bad tagliatelle at that.
But it's themed bars and it's flogging a dead horse. Really, let's be honest. Come on, we can do better than that. We can. Now
we're a quarter of the way through the show. We better give some of the people watching tonight a mention because quite a lot of people watching, and a lot of people said they would have been interested in going to this because we've actually got a prize tonight. So if you stick around until it's not tonight, you can enter the competition. Coming up, we're going to give you a chance to win tickets to the Clackmannashire Whiskey Festival. Okay, so stick around for that. Spread the word. There's a ticket for you and your wife, or you and a mate, up for grabs if the wife allows you to go. But better say hello to someone.
Or husband, Justin.
Or husband.
Yes.
Or husband. Or not, if Putin's watching. John Redmond says hello. Patrick Mulkey says good evening. Mark Kerr says good evening. Mark Bingham, evening chaps, evening to you. Sean McLennan says hello. Julie Mason says hello. Peter Stewart, evening all to you. Thomas Jones says hello. Tony Sillett says evening, boys. Let us know if it's glitching anywhere, folks, by the way, if it's glitching, because I think I've sorted the glitches out here. Peter Stewart, he's gone. No, I hadn't gone. Texas Punch Tapper, what about you boys? Thomas Jones says it's April Fool's Day. No.
Thomas, these things happen. It even happens in the BBC, and they take £160 a year off each of us. Yeah.
Peter Stewart, who's asking you referring to the 2022?
Yeah.
John Redmond was saying his bottle of MVR 22 auction on Facebook went for 320 earlier.
Yeah, it's €200 to start with, but people will. I've saw a few of these raffles and stuff online. Just take it to put it like this: in a month's time, wait to see how many of them appear in Irish whiskey auctions and whiskey auction year and so on and so forth, and not have to pay any big money for them. Certainly initially, there'll be so many of them in auctions. And that's the way of the world.
And then James and Moira Doherty are saying, "Happy Saturday, fellas!" Yes,
James. Big day for James the other day. He was testing out some more equipment he had.
Was he? Tony said we should have put another 50p in the meter. I just upgraded my mobile broadband today. So there you go. So
that explains it.
We weren't on mobile broadband today. That was full house broadband.
Nice.
So a couple more stories to come tonight, Marty.
We have a few more. Now, remember a few weeks ago for Robbie Burns, we talked about the poetry competition. If anybody wanted to enter into, they announced a winner. There was a winner announced in the Inverness Courier, which is where I go for all my major international news. In the Inverness Courier, we got a photo of a guy, Matthew Farmer. That's his name, Matthew Farmer, holding up his prize, his bottle of Annandale Man of Words. Now,
that's a nice prize.
Well, it's about £300 worth of whiskey, and maybe a wee bit more if it was at auction. But yeah, so yeah, he won it. Do you want to read it? Do you want me to read it, Justin, or do you want me to?
I don't have it, so I can't read it.
Right, I'll read it.
Let me see. You read it out. Can I make it big? Is it in that there? Is it?
Yes.
I get it. It is.
It's right. Thespian. Right. It's like, I feel like John Gielgud. Mr. McRitchie put ice in his whiskey. Much to your private dismay, he sang "What a Bouquet" and pronounced it Islay, then told us his palate was a remarkable talent and that this one had notes of damp hay.
That's pretty good, Marty.
That's not bad.
That's a nice wee ditty.
Yeah, it's not bad. I don't really know about the sort of meter of the whole thing, how it's supposed to read. Maybe if I'd have read to, maybe I would know. But that's the best I can do. Don't ask for it.
I don't know. There's a name for the number of lines and all those things. I can never remember what it is. Is that a sonnet or a limerick or a ditty or I don't know.
It sort of reminds me of a limerick, but it goes a bit pear-shaped towards the last two lines. So I don't really think.
Maybe it's a.
I want to pour myself a whiskey.
Limerick.
I've been trying this here. This Isaac Bullman port cask finished bourbon. Quite tasty, I tell you. Working my way through this bottle quite quickly. I have lots of samples to bring back to you, by the way, Justin. Not that it's.
I'm looking forward to that.
All of these are for
Frank Hearn was saying, "Evening, folks. All good here. Show us flying down the wires." I read that as snow is flying down the wires. John Redmond is saying that poem is not a patch in his.
You're right, John. I would have given you the prize any day of the week, buddy. Even though Justin tried to plagiarise it and steal it for his own benefit, I would have given it to you, John. Anyway, what can you do?
Anyway,
now wee bit more serious. Now, I'm sure everybody's well aware about Ukraine and obviously what's going on there. There's a number of Ukrainian distilleries, and they're on the likes of Instagram and all this kind of stuff. And we always talk about how whiskey's about sitting down with your friends, having a drink, or doing something like this where you can sit and chat and so on and so forth. Well, I kind of thought the other night, these guys, who knows whether these guys are living or dead, or are they refugees now and heading towards Poland? So from the Irish Whiskey Review, I just sent them a wee message, just to say, guys, we're thinking about you. Hopefully you're okay. Hopefully everything is, you're going to be safe enough and everything will work out okay. And I don't know. I just thought to myself, there's sometimes, we've all went through hard times or bad times, and God, I don't think we've been through anything like these guys are going to be going through. And just to let people know you're thinking about them is maybe about as much as any of us can do, really.
And if anybody in the Kremlin's watching, I didn't send that message.
And if anybody's in the Kremlin's watching, I did send the message. I don't give a shit. Britain, you prick. Anyway, so put it like this. It's like, these guys, we always talk about this sort of whiskey fraternity and how close it is and so on. That's just something. So the pages are there. We'll get them put up at the end of the show. So if anybody even wants to just send them a message, just say, look, guys, we're thinking about you. There's probably not a big lot else the likes of us can do, but it's anyway.
Well, unless you're working Shorts missile systems and you can bring some out in the boot of the car or something like that there. I think they've sent some anyway.
Well, here's the thing. In actual practical terms and how it's going to affect certainly whiskey, it's going to. And I just wanted to come up with a couple of figures. And I know this sounds very callous, maybe talk about this now, but these are going to be factored in. Russia is the second biggest importer of Irish whiskey. 500,000 cases last year. And
does
growing.
it count as a luxury good, but?
You tell me, Justin, I don't know. Who knows what way this is going to pan out. But you're thinking, this is, if they cut off Irish whiskey, that's 500,000 cases going a year out of, I know we always talk about how popular Irish whiskey is growing, but it ain't that big that it can sustain, maybe dropping 8% of its export market. Scotland is even bigger. But 42 million bottles were exported to Russia last year. 1.8 million going to Ukraine. So are they're going to lose all that market? I know it sounds very callous to talk about this, but it's a reality, and it's something that whiskey manufacturers in Scotland and Ireland are going to have to face up to. Lindora's Abbey, we talked about that distillery. It's 75% owned by Russian businessmen who have, and I have to read this, they own 75% of the company. Now, they are Anton Buslov, Sergei Yuradov, and Sergei Fukin. Now, these guys have won $500 million worth of military contracts from the Kremlin. Are they going to be sanctioned? What's going to happen there? And it might seem as if these things are far away, but it'll land on the doorstep of people working within the whiskey industry. And all because somebody decided that they just thought, why not? So, yeah, as I say, guys, we always talk about trying to be upbeat and so on and so forth, but whenever you watch the news, it's kind of hard to be just at the minute.
It is. It is indeed.
But this isn't necessarily whiskey related, but it flagged up because I was looking for different whiskey stories, and it's a sort of warming story. It's about a dog whose name's Whiskey, and that's about as good as it gets. He was called in Mumbai a society dog, i.e. a stray. But he went missing, and they found him, and this is the little video that was released on Instagram about it.
Okay. This is a taxi. It's an I-10. It's a Hyundai I-10, right? This looks like a pretty middle-class apartment area in India. And there's a dog. It's quite a healthy dog, not a mangy dog, right? It's the center of attention.
अरे काय माणसासाठी बोललं
There we go. What a story.
You can follow Whiskey. He's got his own Instagram page. It's at WHIS.KEY_, and you can follow him on Instagram. So it's from Mumbai, the Dardar region in India. So yeah, I thought that was at least something a bit more cheery than everything else that's been going on from the middle of the week.
It was indeed. Peter Stewart is commenting on the Ukraine story. There's a video of an old lady giving sunflower seeds to passing Russian soldiers. If they took them, she cursed them up and down and said, when they die, she'll know where the seeds grow. There you go.
Best of luck to her.
There you go. Good. Nice.
By the way, folks, anybody looking at the Facebook page, there was a random picture of a castle appeared on it, and people were a bit confused. It's not Justin's second home. It's not Justin hasn't bought a new luxury home. It's actually Midhope Castle, just beside the Forth Bridge. There, it's from Outlander. It's Lallybrook, or I don't watch Outlander.
I don't watch Outlander, by the way, because it's shit too. Do you agree with me that Outlander's pish?
Yes. See, Zuckerberg.
All right.
Yeah, it's just rubbish. I tried to watch it, and it's just no, it's not for me. But then again, I'm not a pervert. It's just dead funny. Anyway, so yeah, that was why that was there. It's not Justin's new home. It just hasn't paid a tear.
James and Moira Darker, do you think it's my third home?
I wouldn't put it by you.
All right. Yes. If I get named as one of the Russian oligarchs, she'll know the truth.
Yeah. You could be one of them wee hats. You know the wee hats the Russians wear.
No.
Mm.
No.
That's really nice.
Yeah, we better give our sponsors a wee plug this week as well. There we go. It is, of course, Scots Irish Whiskey is sponsoring the show this week, and they've it's widely available now, particularly down round where the distillery is going to be in Garrison,
And you get it in the airport. Get it in airports.
Yeah.
Get it in lots of stuff. It's nice. So.
Actually, I meant to look out for it in the airport there, but if I get to go through the airport this week, I might have more time to see if it's there. The shop wasn't open when I went through; it was too early in the morning. But there you go.
Yeah, good.
Now,
Whiskey festivals, Justin.
whiskey festivals, yes.
Now,
We're going to be talking about this one very shortly.
mm-hmm.
But before, you can get to go to this one.
Yeah, we have 2 tickets for the Clackmannshire Whiskey Festival. Now, Graham and Selena were on a couple of weeks ago, and they very generously gave a couple of tickets to a pair of our lucky viewers. If you wish to avail of these things, send us a direct message. Let us know. And there are 2 tickets up for grab for the Sunday. If you've never been to a whiskey festival, essentially what happens is you go, you take your tickets in, and you get to sample all of the available spirits at all of the stands. And
what's not to like about that?
You go round and round and round until you're either dizzy or pissed. It's entirely up to yourself. They are a good crack, and you get to talk to the reps or the people that are making the stuff, and you get to taste firsthand. So if you want these, the tickets are for the festival. Get in touch with us, and we'll pick one winner who'll get a pair of tickets during the week.
Yes, and it's as simple as that.
Just
now, it's a Sunday session. The exact date is on there. It's where does it say the date?
The 3rd, Sunday the 3rd of April.
Sunday the 3rd of April. Enter it. If you can't go, I would imagine the tickets are transferable to your cousin in Scotland or something like that there. But,
yeah,
we do want you to turn up if you win the tickets, or somebody to turn up in your name, basically. So if you they're very generous in giving this. It's worth a few quid. You have to make your own transport there over there. It's not all-inclusive or anything like that. You have to make your own transport over there. You probably will see us there if we can make it.
Although, if the winner happens to be a young leggy blonde, I'm sure Justin will give her a little lift over. That would be Justin. You'd be a gentleman. Like
private jet will be fired up for that one. Don't worry.
Yes.
But anyway,
you're that kind of guy, Justin.
DM us. It's dead easy to get in touch. We're on YouTube. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitch. We're on Anchor. We're wherever you get your podcasts. You can even, through the podcast, send us a message. Just DM us. Send us a message.
Anytime during the week, anytime from now up to, we'll say, Thursday morning, we can, we'll get back to you, the winner, on Thursday morning. So just send us the email, and me and Justin will pick a winner at random. That do?
Okay, that's the easiest thing to do. Okay. Now,
another whiskey festival, Justin. Now, I've always tried to explain, whenever me and you are doing tours, whenever we're taking people from the States around, that St. Patrick's Day is a much bigger event in America than it ever is in Ireland. Most people in Ireland are much more concerned about the Cheltenham Festival, horse racing festival, than they would be necessarily about St. Paddy's Day. But Chicago, as we all know, is a huge Irish population in it, and St. Patrick's Day thus is a huge event. But they haven't had an Irish whiskey festival on St. Paddy's Day up until now. Now, the guy who's doing this has the wonderful name of, go ahead, Justin, you love this name.
Joe Terranova.
That's a class name. Yeah. So,
oh my God, it's the goddamn Peaky Blinders, and they're in Chicago. Holy shit, it's Joe Terranova. Have we joined Miami Vice? we've got a guy with a fantastic radio name on. His name's Joe Terranova. You couldn't make it up. It's his real goddamn name.
Justin has been all really excited about just saying that.
I love it, dude. I love it.
Like,
It's a fun name. It's a fun name. It's something heritage. Yeah,
it is. We're joined by Joe Terranova of the Sláinte Chicago Whiskey Fest. Now, this is your brainchild, so tell us all about it. What's happening?
So essentially, I wanted to do something for one of my favorite styles of whiskey, and of course, Irish whiskey being top of the list for me. It's kind of where I cut my bones in the whiskey industry. And I used to work at an Irish pub in Chicago back in the day, and so it was either a Jameson or a Bushmills and a shot of that with a Bud Light or a Miller Lite. So that was like my 20s, like all through my 20s. And then of course mixology came about and craft whiskey, and people started wanting to do different things with different styles of whiskey. But for me, my heart always lied within Irish whiskey. And so this was an opportunity this year after the past 2 years of the cluster we've had in this world. I know. Yep. And I've been wanting to do this event for a couple of years, to be honest with you, because I do host a couple other whiskey events in the States. And so this was an opportunity to take this style and this segment of whiskey to another level. There's not a lot of whiskey events in Chicago that are geared towards Irish whiskey. So this is exactly why I wanted to do that this year.
Okay. Now, this is going to be a celebration of various Irish whiskies. It's not just pot style whiskey. It's going to be single malt blends and everything. So there's also an Irish cream going to be there as well.
Yeah, there's a couple Irish creams. Yeah,
a couple of creams and Irish creams. So what all are you going to have? What all is going to be there?
We are. Limvadi's a brand new brand that just is going to hit the States. I think it's happening like the next week or two here. So
Darrell's everywhere.
We actually talked to him. We have an interview with him, which I'll pop up in the description as we speak.
And he was in the States going round and round and round and round.
The McNallys did like my post on Facebook, so I got really excited. I was like, it got to the top. Like they already know that we're going to be there. So they're one of the brands that I'm really excited to showcase because it's a single barrel offering. You don't get a lot of that in the Irish whiskey segment. Who else is going to be there? Tell them we're due. They're kind of they're always been my what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like my silent favorite. You always get the Jameson and Bushmills because those have been the most traditional. But Tell them we're due crept up when I was younger, and I'm excited about the 12-year. I really love the 12-year, so that's going to be there. Silky, legendary Silky is going to be there. Super excited.
Joe, you won't believe it, but we actually just did a day trip there just before Marty headed over to the States. It's a fantastic place in Donegal.
So legendary Silky. It's an amazing story and everything about the background. About what I learned too. I talked to David Wood, who's their national U.S. sales director, and he gave me the story that one of the reasons why they built the distillery was to keep all the football players in town, so that way they don't leave go elsewhere. So you don't realize that when some of these towns build distilleries, it's really to keep the sports going.
But they're tiny little places, Ardra's not a big place, Justin, do you want to explain about Slave League?
Well, it's a fantastic place. It is just beautiful setting. It's on sort of a floodplain beside a river. They've built the factory on and sort of distillery. Distillery, it's a factory distillery. It has a beautiful panoramic window, looks towards the town. You can go to Nancy's in the town, which is the main pub, and look out across. Oh, it's just super.
That's awesome.
You can eat, you can drink, you can go back, you can eat, you can drink. And that's
is there anything else you want to do in life? Honestly, especially in Ireland, it's so gorgeous. Just to have that scenery and everything, and then to have a nice, single malt, somewhat peated, triple distilled, Irish whiskey is amazing. So
it's amazing. Some amazing stuff. I notice you've got our favorite plucky little distillery, Cologne, is paying you. Is going to be there.
Yeah,
so you'll get the joy of Brendan ranting about something.
So they aren't even. I don't think they have anything right now. The next 30 days, they're registering and getting approved in Illinois. And so Two Stacks, which is kind of their sister brand, that's in market already. But I was really excited about Kilwan. I was very, very excited to have that because they're kind of like on that up and up, that craft Irish whiskey segment. Like
Absolutely.
people, they're really starting, and I guess they do a lot of different like wood finishes and such too. So
once you get Brendan, and Brendan will, I'm sure, be joining you possibly via the mechanism of the internet or whatever. Ask him about things that he doesn't like in the Irish whiskey world, and just see him go. Get him in full rant mode. He's hilarious. He's so passionate about what he does. It's fantastic. You've got I wrote these down. So you've got Rowan Co, Glendalough, Two Stacks, Writer's Tears, The Irishman. You've got a lot of range there. A lot of very, very different styles.
Yep. Yeah, so that was the thing. So if you look at like other whiskey fests that happen in the States, it's usually just a general like whiskey fest, right? So like you have like your world whiskeys, whether it be Japanese, Canadian, Scotch, Irish, and then people really gravitate towards the bourbons and the American styles because there's a whole secondary market of like, I can't get this anymore. Yeah. Everything's allocated out here. And so I don't play that game. Me personally, I have some, and I love what I can get when I can get my hands on it. But really, to appreciate whiskey is to appreciate the craft of making the whiskey, no matter who makes it. If it's sourced, if it's unsourced, whatever it is, like find your story like inside those bottles. Like figure out like how you're going to enjoy yourself. And so when I want to do these events, I want consumers and customers and guests to figure out like what's their wheelhouse. Where's their tongue taking them on the journey? Are they picking up notes of caramel? Are they picking up notes of banana? Are they picking up blackberries, blueberries? Currants, are they picking up like all these different notes? So that's really the joy for me of doing whiskey. It wasn't when I was younger, but that was a whole nother like era of like shooter time. And so you go to these events and you're like, pause, don't shoot, let your tongue taste what you are actually drinking. It's not just, we're not cranking shots of flavored whiskey to just get buzzed and go do whatever we want to do. Yeah. So these events are geared towards people who want to learn and the education of the actual styles and brands of whiskey. So
yeah. Now I noticed you're having this in a place called the Bottom Lounge in Chicago, and I noticed I've done a little bit of research here. I've done a little bit of Googling. It's got 18,000 square feet of capacity. Yeah. Now, if you're talking to Brendan will look at you in a way, because he'll never have seen so much space, because his distillery would probably fit behind the bar in the Bottom Lounge.
A little shack.
Now, this is obviously a big place. So are you expecting big numbers?
Yeah, so obviously with COVID and everything, we want to make sure we're not dragging everybody into a on top of each other situation. Mm-hmm. They already require, vaccination cards and stuff for people to enter into that facility anyways. So I confirmed, and I said, are we allowed to, have X amount of people? And they said, yeah. So my goal is to max it out at 1,000 people. I know that sounds like a lot, but there's a lot of
that's a big crowd. That is a big crowd.
You got to remember though, it's St. Patty's Day. Like it's Patty's Day. So like in Chicago, if you guys have ever celebrated Patty's Day in Chicago, like you're talking 500 square foot bars will have about 600 people. I mean, like it just gets crammed. And so I don't want to do anything cramming, but I want to have people enjoy themselves and bring the numbers of people who don't want to get blitzed, who want to enjoy themselves drinking whiskey.
Yeah.
Listen, is the river green? Is that true? Do they paint the river green? Do they?
Yeah. So
this is nearly as bad as the Chinese who paint the grass green.
The plumbers union use like safe graded like dye for the river, so that way they're not killing any animals or having them turn up with 3 eyes or something.
Tell that to Canada.
Yeah, right. So every year they dye the river green, and last year they didn't tell anybody that they were doing it because usually there's a big crowd. It's a tradition out here. Everyone wants to hang out and look at the ocean or the river and watch it dye green. Then they go and drink and have their corned beef and cabbage or whatever else they want to do. But this year, yes, all the festivities are back on. They've already acknowledged that everything's going to happen this year. Everything's open again. So and that's good for business too. So.
Absolutely. Now, it's on the 17th of March at the Bottom Lounge in Chicago from 6 o'clock to 9. Now, there's 2 levels of tickets. There's the VIP, which Muggins would get, and then there's the general admission, which I would end up getting. So what's the difference between the two?
So typically whenever you see these events, you get a VIP ticket and it's just an hour extra of drinking. That's all they really give you. You end up paying like double the amount of ticket price and you don't get anything special except just an hour extra. So on top of that, I have a whole private VIP section upstairs. Part of this 18,000 square feet is upstairs. And we could fit at maximum, I think, 400 people up there, but I've scaled it back to about 300 max. And there's also an outdoor patio out there. So that way, if you do smoke or you want to go get some fresh air, there's an opportunity to go do that. And then, like I said, Beam Centauri is going to be the title sponsor. So I don't know what they're exactly going to do, but the idea is that they're going to hopefully transform that upstairs into more of an immersive experience of, Kilbeggan and Cooley distilleries.
Is anybody famous going to turn up, Joe? Somebody famous is bound to turn up.
I mean, hey, I'm not chasing any celebrities at this point, man. Like, if they show up, I would love it because obviously that's great influence on the event. But year one, I'm really focusing on the whiskeys and building those brands and making sure people know that there's other things besides, 1, 2, and 3 brand out there.
Yeah, don't be letting Conor McGregor come in case he starts punching all the staff, punching
I
old
was
boys.
wondering about that. I didn't get proper 12 confirmed, unfortunately. But the thing is, I was like, if I do, are they going to bring Conor and do I have to babysit this guy?
No. Honestly, you don't. Just forget about it. Just forget about it. But you've got a charity sponsor as well, or charity.
I do
hook up as well. Charity partner. Who are they and what do they do?
So Salute Inc. is the name of the charity partner, and I've had a lot of military in my family, and it's important to me to always give back to organizations during my events. Having a charity partner during events is super important because it amplifies why you're doing this event. It's not just also the education of the whiskey. You could bring attention with the platform to introduce an organization to somebody. And so Salute Inc. is an organization that is built on helping military families, veterans, and also the actual military service members with physical, emotional, and monetary needs. So it's a great organization. It's close to my family because I've got about 2 relatives that are in that organization, and they couldn't be more excited that we're a part of this because it just
is that the one that Gary Busey is sort of backing off, or am I thinking of the wrong one?
I think you're thinking of the wrong one. That might be, is that Wounded Warrior Project? I don't know, but there's a handful of these, service member charities out there, but I know that there's no really celebrity, big time celebrity. It's really a blue collar organization. There's a lot of
that sort of thing. Yeah.
Union guys that are a part of this and stuff. And it's really good because that's Chicago's built on unions and stuff. So it's really close to home for a lot of people, not just the union side, but then also the military side.
Yeah, good. Now tickets for the event are $65 and $125.
Yes, sir.
And what do you get for your money? You get your tastings. You get to listen to Brendan rant and rave about various aspects of the Irish whiskey industry, which is well worth the money. Well worth the money, I assure you. Do you get tastings? Do you get food? You get fed, which would please his lordship.
Yes.
What else?
So the $65 general admission ticket gets you obviously access into the event, and what that includes is everyone gets a Glencairn. It's going to have the Sláinte logo on there, which because of the ordering systems and supply chains, I've had to order, a month ago, and I'm just waiting for it to land, which is fine. I was actually able to connect with the national brand ambassador in the U.S. He's actually a good friend of mine, so he made sure that I was getting it on time for the delivery. And then on top of that, there's the whiskey samples. We're going to have food. We're going to have some nibbles for the general admission. We're going to have a premium buffet upstairs for the VIPs. And then Chicago's very own fun and kooky Whiskey Mick band is going to play for us. You got to love the name, Whiskey Mick, right? What it's called. But they're going to be playing for 4 hours. I got them for 4 hours that night. And,
wow.
and the 4th hour is free, which is great. So we're going to go to 9 p.m., and then they're going to amp up, and I want people to stay from 9 to 10 and watch Whiskey Mick, really rock and roll, do some Irish versions of Barbara O'Reilly and other rock hits. So it's going to be fun.
Now, what have you got in your glass there? I know you might not want to show favoritism, but what have you got in your glass?
That's a legendary Silky. I was talking about it so much, I wanted to make sure that.
Yes. Well done.
There we go.
Once you get to try the Dark Silky is just superb.
I've got that one here. Midnight's coming out, and
we've tried it. I've tried it.
Have you?
I've tried it.
Oh, we've tried it. Yeah.
I'm trying it Tuesday.
Yeah, you're in for a treat. You really are.
Just the little smoke on here is just perfect. You don't even need
just these levels, and they all sort of work really well. He's blended it really well, really well. Now, the event in and of itself? Is this going to be an annual event? Is this going to be running forward?
Yeah. So my goal with this was to do it at least once a year, and no one really knows this because it's behind the scenes. But I was working on a Milwaukee version of this event as well. It's just, with the short amount of time to have between January and March, we had to get a venue, and the venue aspect was not working out the way we wanted it to. However, that's going to be on hold for next year. So the goal really is to expand that week, the bookended weekends, like to have a Sláinte or 2 or 3 like that week, to really celebrate, like I said, this segment of whiskey. I really want to bring attention to the segment, and people should know, like, outside of the normal, big 1, 2, 3 brands, there's other great products out there. Just try it out.
Some fantastic products out there that unbelievably artisan, bijou, boutique distilleries all over the place in Ireland now.
Writer's Tears has been on my map too. They're a really good brand. I don't have any Writer's Tears here right now, but just a fantastic brand itself.
And it's very affordable, very affordable. Which is, these days, as you're well aware, the prices of whiskies creeping up and up. It's going like this, and some of them just run like that, and they're harder to get. So to actually have a brand that's been there, been established, the quality of it, and it's still at a very affordable price. I really take my hat off the Writer's Tears. It's a superb brand.
Heck yeah, and I think the Irishman just rebranded itself too. Like they just came up with some new bottles. So I'm really excited to see if anything changes there. Oh, another cool brand that we're going to have is High and Wicked is owned by Altimer Brands, and they do different offerings like every year, I guess, and that's kind of how they're putting it. But this year is the Rover High and Wicked Irish whiskey, and so I'm really excited to see what's in that bottle. To be honest,
excellent. It's just an exciting time for whiskey all over, including in the States. I mean, I'm here and I'm getting more of a flavour of what's going on in the States, and wow, I mean, there's lots of it's fantastic stuff. Really,
I'm really looking forward to getting out to Ireland either like later this year or even early next year, and I'm really going to soak it in, in the best way possible.
Yeah, soaked is normally a good thing. If you're going to get soaked, it's the place to come. Loads of people from the States come over and say, "Oh, I love the cold weather." Well, you're in for a real treat in Ireland.
Yeah. What is it? They say every 29 minutes it rains, right? Isn't that the rule? And literally it did when we were out there.
Something like that. Joe Terranova from the Sláinte Whiskey Festival, a celebration of Irish whiskey taking place in Chicago. Thanks a lot for joining us on Irish Whiskey Review. Full details are on our Facebook. And we might even try and link it up with you on the day. We might try that.
Let me know. I got you guys covered, obviously. So just let me know if you're coming out. I'll take care of that.
We would love to, but the private jet's in for a service.
The price of fuel for the private jet has really put that on hold.
Hey,
as long as you get to the States, you can take a train. Then it doesn't need to get all the way here.
I know. Oh, there we go.
Joe Terranova. What a name.
I know. He used to be on the radio too, I think,
Yeah.
And James Moore Doherty says he didn't pay. He didn't pay, Joe, honestly.
This show is brought to you tonight by the Scots Irish Whiskey, but it's partially must be brought. The Sláinte bit must be brought by the Silky. Honestly.
Boy. That's good.
I think you do okay with that. A lot of Irish people there in Chicago, or Irish descent, Irish American. Let's just put it like that. So why would he not? Why would he not do well? But I laughed whenever he said whenever I mentioned to him that the place he's holding is 18,000 square feet. That's bigger than a lot of distilleries over here. It's absolutely enormous.
I know. It is enormous. And do you know what I've managed? I've managed to send them some of our lovely Irish Whiskey Review beer mats. So they're on the way to the festival. Isn't that good too? Isn't that good too?
Hey, next week, Justin.
Not too bad.
I don't know yet.
What is on next week?
Unfortunately, I'll be back. Fortunately or unfortunately, I'll be back in the lovely sunny climes of Glenarm. I'll be back on next week.
Has people seen them? I don't know where people have seen them. They've only seen them if they've got something from us, So
of course they are.
They're pretty cool, aren't they?
Yeah,
pretty cool.
So if you want one, contact Justin. Especially
there's none left. I've sent them. No. There's a few left. So yes, busy schedule coming up actually as we run up to St. Patrick's Day, and of course, want you to make sure you catch the show. Remember, it's all stored there on YouTube, Irish Whiskey Review. It's on Facebook, the live show 10 p.m. on Saturday nights. Wednesday, there's usually a separate podcast out as well, and that goes out sort of midnight on Tuesday, so you can get it on Wednesday. Just ask your smart speaker to play Irish Whiskey Review podcast. It's also on LinkedIn, Irish Whiskey Review, growing dramatically within the trading industry there on that. And it's also on Twitch. And if somebody wants to explain to me how Twitch works, feel free, because I couldn't care less.
And if you want to explain it to me, please don't bother, because I couldn't care less either.
I know, but it is on Twitch, and people are starting to watch it on there, despite me doing nothing with it on there. And you can pin them in Pinterest as well. But sure, if you can't find it on the internet, you don't know how to work Google, so you might as well cancel all your Facebook accounts and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, don't do online banking.
No,
because the Russians will steal all your money.
Yes, and please read the Daily Mail, because everything they say is gospel.
No. So yeah, I'll be back.
It says the quality of the picture is far better from Texas than it is from County Antrim. Well, the servers for this are in America, so that doesn't surprise me. Hold on to a see. Hold on. What are you saying? Right, the quality of the picture, right? Okay, my picture quality has just gone from 320 to 720 HD. Is that better now?
I would say you're a bit better looking now, but I'll be lying. You're clearer, is what I would say.
I know, but the sound is everything. Get yourself a proper microphone and you won't go far wrong. It doesn't matter what you look like, as long as you have a big, massive microphone like this.
You love your big microphone. No. So, yeah. I'll be back in Glenarm next week.
All right.
And so I've your bottle of El Guapo.
And do you know what I did this week? I entered on Facebook a competition myself. So you should enter our competition, right? Because I entered a competition on Facebook, right? And this competition on Facebook was to win a voucher at Springsteen's in Carrickfergus, courtesy of Canon Car Store, which is a Hyundai dealer and does use cars as well in Carrickfergus. And I won it, and I've won 50 quid's worth of vouchers. So I'll be able to take you for a meal when you come back. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go for dinner here in a wee minute, Justin, and I'm going to go to a big, massive Texas steakhouse. But don't worry, I'll send lots of photos of it to you, just so you can see me eating a big, massive steak.
I'll be glad when you're back here, because the pictures of the food has just been blowing my mind. You know?
Yeah, but it's been fun over here. Really, I'm sort of having a look and finding out a bit more about the whiskey stuff over here and what's happening, and talking to some guys and so on and so forth. There's so much potential over here for Irish whiskey. I mean, really, really go daft. There's a huge selection of American whiskies, and bourbons obviously is the predominant one. But in terms of what Scotch is available and what's Irish whiskies available and Japanese whiskies and world whiskies, it's in terms of shelf space, which is everything really. Certainly in a state like Texas, where they don't have, you can't order online. For Texas, other states it's available. There's huge potential for it, and it's heartening to see, and nice to hear that certainly Cologne Potching's going to be available, albeit it's going to be a very limited amount of it in the US. So yeah, all good.
Okay, now I'm going to try and explain to people how the DM is so as they know, but it's very hard to do when you're logged in. So I'm going to explain this to you. So I'm going to share the screen with with you. And I'm going to. What you do is to DM us, right? You go on your Facebook, right, and you go in where this blue button is here. See this blue button, which is just down there. That blue button.
That's the one that says message.
It's going to say message, right? Or contact us or that. You can message us down there or the Weavy line for Messenger. And you go on the Facebook page. Weavy line is, if you can go on Sunday the 3rd, there's a pair of tickets up for grabs. We'll pick a person, right? There might be, goodness knows, there might be half a dozen you just want to go. You aren't all going to get to go. Only one lucky pair of tickets is coming your way to the sort of Clackmannashire Whiskey Festival, so which is in Loa. So that is how you do that. So if you want to go to that, get in touch.
Let us know.
DM
get a ticket, and you'll go and get to try lots and lots and lots of whiskies, all courtesy of Graham and Selena at Sláinte events.
Who must have liked it. Actually, it was a very high rated show. That it went over the 3,000 mark. That show in terms of viewership, and the reach was past the 10,000. So it's good. We're hoping to go ourselves, but
Joe, you might get to meet me and Justin there, which don't let that put you off. Don't let that put you off. We're friendly enough.
Especially if you are a tall, leggy blonde.
If you're a tall, leggy blonde, trust me, Justin will be as friendly as anything.
Oh boy, the old jokes are the best. So it's good night from Marty. Is this your last week? Next week you'll be back home in Glenara.
Did you not hear me saying that about 4 times?
I did. I just can't believe 3 months has gone like that there.
I know, buddy. I know. There you go.
And are we allowed? We're not allowed to say anything else then? No?
Not just at the minute, no.
Okay. Right. No worries. All right.
But thank you to our sponsors tonight, Scott's Irish Whiskey, and see you next week, guys.
Yep. Thank you very much. Remember to comment, like, and share. Hit subscribe. Type a comment on any of the reviews or anything like that there. It helps us help you. And then Marty eventually does respond, or I do, or we get back. And, if you have Facebook, hit us up on Facebook. If you have YouTube, hit us up on YouTube. If you have LinkedIn, hit it up with LinkedIn. And if you have Twitch, or you have a teenager that does Twitch, please explain it to me.
I don't try and... we're in America, and if you tell people teenagers on drinking stuff, please, because they might shoot us and get on.
All right, I don't want you getting incarcerated and Guantanamo Bay.
No. I've had the Department of Immigration already send me an email thanking me for visiting and reminding me it's time to go home. I hope you've enjoyed yourself back home.
Did they really?
Yep. Swear to God, it's in the last week. It's nearly time.
Meanwhile, hordes of Mexicans are coming across the border. Yes.
It's just funny. It's funny. Anyway.
It is funny. All right. Right. Catch you next week. Safe travels. I'll speak to you on the way. And remember, say the miniatures are like urine samples. Nobody will ever open to check them.
I have all these miniatures for Justin. All of these are and there's more over there. All different stuff that I've been given, and I've got a chance to get for, including by the way, Sugarland Moonshine.
Oh, that looks good. That looks really good.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. So those are all wee presents for you if you never get back. He was pissed as a fart.
All right. Take it easy. Good night. Thanks to tonight's sponsors. Catch you again. Same time, same place next week, 10 p.m. It's been Irish Whiskey Review. I've been Justin McCartney. He, as always, is Martin McCauley. Good night. Oh, hey, Shane Foley has a request, Marty. Bring some of that weather back. That weather back.
Shane, the reason we're inside tonight is because it's far too warm outside. I don't want to be red berry again. Bye.